Little flyaways will just never get away from me, so we're just gonna have to use the remaining lotion we have that we placed on our hands. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia for those who are tuning in, and welcome back to everybody else. This video is so special to me, guys. If you guys didn't know, I do wedding makeup for a living, so I thought this video would be really fun. Now, I just have to say, this is just how I do my makeup on myself and for my clients. There are a million makeup artists out there, therefore everyone's preferences, opinions can be different. As you guys can read from the title, this is bridal makeup look. I did film a bridal hair and makeup look a few years back, probably outdated, so I thought this was probably the best way for me to reintroduce myself here in the YouTube world. So in this video, I'm going to share tips and tricks, how to tell what skin tone you are, surface of the skin versus your undertones, the skin type you may have if you didn't know, layering some products and colors, and overall a fun, easy tutorial. Hopefully you guys can learn some tips and tricks on this. Because I am playing the bride in this video, I'm going to show you from step 1 to the end, meaning skin prep, skin analysis, what works best with your complexion, and how to neutralize any discoloration if you may have it, which I do, so you'll see a lot of green and some peaches on my face, but overall you'll see it's nice and even. So if you guys are interested in this video, then please keep on watching. Good morning, and it's wedding day. Well, pretend wedding day, but we're gonna be happy. Hair is freshly washed. Let's just tame it and use this big ol' scrunchie. And of course, I can't forget about my marshmallow headband. First thing we're going to do is start off with a skin analysis. Before we get started with the video, let's get a quick scan of my face complexion. It is not perfect. I do have a lot of hyperpigmentation in the center of the face, discoloration under the eyes, broken capillaries around the face, pores in the center of the cheeks, some texture on the forehead, and I do build oils around my chin and mouth area. With that said, I am more of a combo. During the summer times and the winter time, I am more of a combo dry. However, I feel like I'm a hybrid of both, so I'm just basically a plain old combo at the moment. My face does tend to get dry, but with good hydrating properties. It hydrates well, does build oils throughout the days, but nothing too heavy. I'm jumping in quickly to give my face a quick cleanse by using micellar water and a very soft cotton square. This is gentle, especially for sensitive skin. It doesn't have any fragrance. Overall, the purpose of this is going to remove any extra dirt and oil that may have been left over from my previous cleanse. I just love to work with a fresh canvas before doing anything else. Next, I'm going to hydrate my lips. I do like to skin prep first. I do bounce around from either my eyes or my lips or my face and some other parts. This way it gives the product enough time to absorb into the skin, or a product that you're applying on to dry for the next application or layering. So just a quick tip. Let's learn about surface color. What is it? Think of surface color as how you would describe your skin to someone. Fair, light, medium, tan, dark, and deep. By looking at my complexion, you can definitely tell that I'm a medium. And yes, this is my winter shade, guys. I'm a little on the fair side. However, when it comes to summer, I can tan. Let's move on to undertone. Basically, undertone is exactly what it sounds like. The color tone underneath the surface of your skin. Unlike surface color, which can change with a tan or certain brightening products, your undertone remains consistent. There are 3 undertones. Cool, characterized by a bluish undertone to the skin. Warm, a golden or peach-colored undertone. Neutral, a neutral undertone is neither cool or warm.
For darker skin tones, a neutral undertone will have an olive tint. How to determine your undertone? Let's check your veins. If your veins are blue, then you are a cool tone. If your veins are green, then you are a warm tone. If your veins are bluish and green, you may have neutral undertones. Learning that my skin is a combo, I am going to be using a gel-based moisturizer. I feel this has enough hydration for my skin to layer with makeup. It's not going to look cracky throughout the day. It's just a perfect fit for my skin type. Again, listen to your clients, do a proper skin analysis, and make sure that whatever product you use on your clients has enough hydration. Next is sunscreen. Whether you're directly under the sun or just out and there's some sun, you always want to use sunscreen to protect your skin. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun damages skin cells. This can lead to sunburn, aging, and even skin cancer. I do highly recommend at least a SPF 50. There are two types of sunscreen, chemical versus physical. Chemical sunscreen absorbs into the skin, converts UV rays into heat, is usually thin and ideal for everyday wear and usually clear. This is great for wedding days, photo takings. It doesn't interrupt the makeup. And there's also physical sunscreen, which usually sits on top of the skin, reflects UVA and B rays, works immediately when applied, and prone to wearing off easily. Now this has like a white overcast that may affect pictures. Because this video is a tutorial and just a demo, I'm not taking pictures, therefore I'm not worried about any photo taking. Recap of skin prep. Always cleanse the face. Should you decide to use serum, toners, essence, go ahead and do so, but you always want to follow through with a moisturizer to seal the deal and let the products penetrate into the skin. Last product of the skin prep is always sunscreen before makeup. Want to see a cool transition? Hiya! I just wanted to do my brows off camera because it does take forever and a day. Begin by priming the lids. It's always good to use an eyelid primer in any form that you prefer. I like using the cream just because the lids are thin. So sometimes using a cream base, it's more hydrating on the lids versus like a pod, and sometimes it gets kind of wrinkly. So little do you know that your lids do produce oils as well. So this is a great way to have your shadows nice in place. You don't have any oil marks, and it's just perfect. You can see that I have discoloration under the eyes as well as the eyelids. Sometimes there are veins, redness, or just, basically discoloration on the lids. So today I'm using a little concealer, and I'm just using this as a base just to kind of neutralize any of the colors. Again, working with the clean blank canvas. So what do you guys think? It's the smallest but biggest difference, right? It just has a nice clean look. And I feel like with a nice even canvas like this, the colors will look very pretty and very even. Anytime I use a cream or liquid product, I always follow through with some powder just to set that area. In my bridal makeup kit, I also offer LORAC Cosmetics. This is just my personal and busted up ones. I love the shadows. It's just very pigmented, easy to use, very creamy. So I'm going to be using the same brands. And I do like to work with the eyes first. Sometimes you get shadow fallouts, and if you do your foundation first and you gotta wipe everything off, it just doesn't blend as easy. So a tip is to always begin with your eyes. The first thing I like to do is grab a large fluffy brush for a transition shade. This is usually my base on my eyes. And as you can tell, I'm not using the tip of the brush. I'm literally using the very side of the brush. You can definitely tell that I have Asian eyes. They are pretty flat. They don't have much of a lid or a crease. So we're gonna create a faux crease today. So I'm going to use a very soft brown, and again, just using the side of the brush, I'm just going to do some swiping motions from left to right. And with the remaining product, I'm just going to lightly bring it into the center of my nose. This kind of creates a little bit of a soft contour that actually benefits with my nose shape. The next brush we're going to use is a size down from this first one. You can tell it has little white tips on that bristle. Now this is a little bit more tapered, so it's actually more controlled of where you want to place the shadow. I'm going to be using a medium colored brown, and I'm going to work this on the corners of my eyes, doing circular motions following my crease. If you have a difficult time locating your crease, just look straight in the mirror, hold the brush to the outer corners, let the brush kind of sink into your eye socket softly, and that way, looking straight, you can rock the brush left and right and create a crease. Just make sure you're not pushing too hard where you see stars. The next brush is going to be even more tapered and more dense. Here's a quick reference of the 3 brushes we use. It's just getting smaller and smaller. So with the smallest brush out of the 3, we're going to take a darker brown, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color, and again starting on the outer parts of the crease, applying the product on there, and again just controlling the crease as we're trying to create definition. Think of contouring the eyes. So with the darker shade and just kind of creating some shadow on the center top part of my crease will give an illusion that I have a deeper eye socket. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. It looks kind of out of place right now, but it's okay because we're going to blend it out. We just want to make sure that we're controlling the area where we want the darker shadows. You can see that I'm just focusing this on the outer corners and just bringing it in ever so lightly. I'm not dragging it all the way through just because I don't want my eyes to be too closed. We want to bring out the lid space, which you'll see in the next step. With a clean, fluffy brush of your choice, I'm just going to use this and just blend out any harsh edges. This may take some time in blending, maybe adding some lighter browns to blend it out. So again, take your time in this step. Don't rush it because you don't want to have the color spreading out of its place. Once I'm happy with the level of blending here, we're gonna use another color to layer onto this current look. I'm gonna use a color, it's named Mulberry. It's warm, it has like a bricky undertone to it. It has like a red berry-ish, but not too plummy, so it's definitely more bricky and brown. I love this color so much. It just adds to the look without adding too much black to make it too intense smoky, but it definitely does give a little drama to the eyes. It's definitely easier to add on than remove. As you can see, I'm layering the colors very slowly. Once I'm happy with the level of colors on the lids, let's go ahead and focus on my lid space. As you can see, they're hooded, very small, probably had a good amount of sodium intake yesterday, so it's not there. So we're going to use concealer to kind of create a faux lid. It's going to be larger and bigger, as you'll see. I'm going to use a little bit of concealer. My trick is to look up, then look back down, and the highest points where the crease kind of sits is where, sorry, I have really bad allergies today. So where the top of the concealer sits is where the crease is naturally there, right? So I'm going to just fill it in where my natural lid space is, but then we're going to add a little bit more and just make it a little bit more pronounced. Next, I'm going to grab just a little bit more concealer, and I'm just going to hold my lid still so I can create a sharper moon shape lid space here. And as you can see, I'm just exaggerating it just a smidge. Again, keeping it proportional to my eye shape and the shadows. I don't want to make it look too funky, but I just want to make it just a little bit more pronounced. You see how it's a little bit higher there? Now let's even out the other eye. Now that the eyes are perfectly matched and shaped, let's go ahead and move on to eyeshadow. Now with the concealer that we place on the lids for the next eyeshadow that we're going to apply on, actually makes it more intensified. So I'm going to use this pearly white shimmer color and just apply it on. It has like a nice frost wet kind of look, which is really pretty. It's very bridal. I would say this is like a white pearly champagne color. So again, you want to choose a color that's fitting your skin tone. I could definitely do a warmer color if I choose to, but I kind of like this neutral kind of cool look. You want to make sure that the shadows stay where the concealer outline is. You don't want any shimmer to be above the crease. It should just be focused right at the lid space. Moving on to lashes. Now my lashes are stick straight short, so I'm definitely gonna need some lashes. However, some clients choose not to wear lashes, so you can always build up their lashes with a primer booster with a mascara of your choice. Waterproof is always a great product to use. I know waterproof can be hard on your lashes and people dislike it when they wash their eyes or their face at the end of the day. However, it's a once in a lifetime thing, right? You're getting married once, you want to make sure your lashes are nice and perky, nothing is running, so I do recommend using a waterproof mascara. As I'm waiting for the lash adhesive to tack out, I'm going to go ahead and jump onto another part of my face. Now let's move on to complexion. Remember how I said that the sunscreen is always the last step of your skin prep? Now a face primer is always the first step of your makeup application. Anytime I'm applying a foundation or a concealer or some sort of tint, you always want to use a primer. It's going to help smooth out the skin, oil controlling, glowing. There's so many types, so again, use the best one that is according to your skin type and preference. I mentioned I had a lot of textures and pores, so I am going to be using a pore filling primer. Lightly just rub this into those areas and make sure it's nice and smooth. Moving on to color correction. Now it's very important, if you or your client may have some discoloration, to use a color corrector to really minimize and neutralize those hues. Because a lot of times if you use a regular concealer, sometimes the darkness or that color that you're trying to eliminate is still peeking through. Let's reference to the color wheel. So under our eyes is typically blue, therefore you want to use orange to neutralize those blues. I have a lot of redness on my cheeks, as you can see, so looking at the color wheel, you want to use the green to neutralize any red. So I'm just going to use a brush because I want to focus the peach just right under the eyes, and I'm going to use a sponge to blend everything out so it's nice and seamless. Although we're going to be using a color corrector under the eyes or around the face, you still need to follow through with another concealer or a foundation of your choice just to even everything out. At this moment, you'll see there's different colors on my face only because this is considered the neutralizing stage. Now let's even everything out. I'm gonna use one of my favorite foundations in the world. This is such an amazing formulation. One, it's a clean brand. Two, a little goes a long way. It also gives you a beautiful natural finish. It's also very buildable, skin finish, breathable, comfortable. It even looks good in person when taking pictures. I mean, the list just goes on and on. They also offer a large range of colors to choose from. There's a whole bunch of skincare benefits as well. So this foundation is actually my summer shade, so it's a little bit warm. I'm going to use a little bit of a white foundation to mix it just to dial it down just a smidge. Otherwise, you'll see a large demarcation from my actual body and hands to my face. So you'll see after everything blends out. Here's a quick tip. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that my forehead is slightly warmer than the rest of my face. Therefore, I will start from under my eyes all the way down to my jawline. And then with the remaining product, I'll blend the rest of the product on my forehead and my jawline and just bringing it down my neck ever so lightly. And now you can see that everything's evened out. So before we set the foundation, let's just jump back to the eyes. I'm going to use brush number 2, and I used a lighter brown. Therefore, it's not going to interrupt what I'm going to do next. I just want to add a little bit more of that mulberry color onto my eyes. I'm carefully starting at the outer corners and just going across my crease. And as you can see, I'm going very carefully, making sure I'm not touching the lid space. This is just going to create a little bit more definition. Again, we want a little bit more shadow in the crease, so it looks like I have more of a sunken eye shape. Then I'm going to softly blend everything out so there's no harsh lines. Finishing touches on the eyes, we're just going to apply some mascara to the lower eyes. Then we're going to use a highlighter with a small pencil brush just to highlight the inner corners of the eyes, another fluffy brush for my brow bone highlights, and then we're going to set the foundation. A technique that I've been using, which I really been liking for a long, comfortable, smooth finish, is to use my damp sponge. Whether I use the concealer or foundation, it's okay. As long as it's damp, it's fine. And I'll just press into the powder and basically set the areas where I have the most, I guess, problems I want to focus on, which is usually under my eyes for creasing, to the pores around the cheeks and around my mouth and chin because it does get oily, and some texture on the forehead. Then I'll take my powder brush and apply everywhere else that's needed. So let's move on to bronzer. This is actually one of my favorite contouring powders, and this is by Patrick Ta. It's actually a very beautiful finish. I have not yet to use the cream, but I will. But the powder formulation is just really nice. I wish I did get it in a darker shade, but if you guys are curious, this color is She's Bronzed. Let's brighten under the eyes with a little bit of translucent powder and the remaining parts of the face. This definitely gives a very smooth finish and a very long-lasting look. Because today is pretend wedding day, I do want to have more of a glowing, radiant finish. So I'm going to take a very dewy type of finishing setting spray just to kind of seal the deal and give extra luminosity. So this is the Dewy Skin Mist by TATCHA. This is definitely optional. Some clients do choose to have their lower eyes lined, colored, all of the above, and some chooses not to. However, in my opinion, I feel like you should have a little bit. Maybe use the same shadows and just line the lower eyes, so that way you do have a little bit of a softer look, so it doesn't look too top heavy. Again, using shadow does make the look a bit softer and overall a little bit more smokier without using too much black shadow, if that makes sense. With this color being a bit softer, it's a nice transition from day to night. Again, preference-wise, if you want to have that more intense look, go ahead and add a little bit more black or even black eyeliner. Hang in there, guys. We are literally at the end of this video. So I'm just going to finish up with a neutral nude lipstick and a brow filler, kind of like brow fluffy kind of thing. I don't know the exact name, but this is by Benefit and it has like little fiber thingies to help kind of fill in the brows, which I definitely need. This is the final look of the bridal glam tutorial video, guys. I know this was definitely a mouthful, lots of talking and details. I hope you guys did learn some tips and tricks on this. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to maybe focus on one thing versus the whole video, because it does get time consuming for you guys, or maybe you guys do like it. I don't know, but I'm open for suggestions. Also, thumbs up if you guys got this far into the video. Again, I'm just slowly trying to reintroduce myself into the YouTube community. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting. I really appreciate it. So stick around as I have more videos to come. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!